Listen, you're tired, you're frustrated, you've been grinding for weeks, maybe months, maybe years, and you're not where you want to be. I get it. You feel like you're pushing a damn boulder uphill, and every time you make progress, life shoves it right back down. You're wondering if it's even worth it. Maybe you're thinking about quitting. Maybe you're even convincing yourself that you don't care anymore. Let me tell you something, you do care. If you didn't care, you wouldn't be here listening to this. You wouldn't still be dragging yourself out of bed when no one's watching. You wouldn't be showing up, and showing up matters. But here's the truth. Results don't show up just because you do. They show up because you stay after the world punches you in the mouth and tells you to go home. They show up because you refuse to fold even when folding would be easier. They show up because you made the decision to keep going, not once, not twice, every damn day. Success is earned through the moments nobody claps for. The early mornings, the late nights, the skipped parties, the silent doubts, the lonely grind. You want motivation, here it is. Your future self is watching you, and they're either going to thank you or hate you. So ask yourself, do you want to wake up in 5 years and wish you had started today? Or do you want to wake up in 5 years and say, damn, I'm glad I didn't quit? You already know the answer. So get up, get back to work, and keep going. You're allowed to feel exhausted. You're allowed to feel drained, beaten down, and worn out from the grind. You're allowed to feel like life is pushing you to the edge. But you are not allowed to quit. You see, exhaustion is a sign that you're in the fight. It's proof that you're pushing yourself beyond comfort, beyond average, beyond what most people will ever dare to do. Most people quit at the first sign of fatigue. Most people see tiredness as a reason to stop. But the truth is, the moment you feel exhausted is often the exact moment you're closer than you think to the break through you've been chasing. That's why you have to keep going, because the gap between where you are and where you want to be is usually crossed by the ones who refuse to stop when it's hard, and it's always hard right before it gets better. You can pause, you can catch your breath, you can take a moment to steady yourself, but you cannot walk away. You cannot throw away the progress you've made just because the road got heavy. Heavy is part of the process. It's supposed to test you. It's supposed to see if you really want it, or if you were just interested until it stopped being fun. When you push through exhaustion, you're telling life that you won't be broken. You're proving to yourself that you have more in you than you thought. Every rep, every mile, every late night, every early morning, it's building you. Even the days when you feel like nothing is moving forward, something inside you is growing stronger. Exhaustion doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're trying. It means you're showing up even when it's not easy. And those are the moments that separate people who get what they want from people who only dream about it. The pain in your muscles, the weight on your chest, the ache in your head, those are not signs to quit. They're signs that you're alive in the fight. They're proof that you're doing what most will never do. It's easy to keep going when you're fresh, when the path is smooth, when everything feels light. But greatness is built in the moments when every step feels heavy and you take it anyway. When you think you've hit your limit and still find one more push inside you, that's where the change happens. That's where you stop being who you were and start becoming who you're meant to be. So yes, be exhausted. Feel every bit of it, but get back up. Because quitting is not an option. Progress doesn't always look pretty. It doesn't always look like big wins, loud celebrations, or dramatic transformations overnight. Sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's silent, sometimes it's so small you don't even notice it happening until one day you look back and realize how far you've come. People want progress to feel exciting all the time. They want every day to be filled with massive leaps forward. But the truth is, real progress is built on the unglamorous stuff. It's built on the early mornings when you don't want to get up, but you do anyway. It's built on the late nights when you push through just a little more work instead of calling it quits. It's built on showing up when you don't feel like it and sticking to the plan even when nobody's watching. Progress doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't wait for motivation. It rewards discipline, and discipline is about consistency. Consistency is doing the thing over and over and over, even when it feels like nothing's changing. It's lifting the same weights week after week until one day they feel lighter. It's running the same route until one day it's easier to breathe. It's writing every day until one day the words flow without struggle. From the outside, it might look boring, it might look repetitive, it might not get you applause or recognition, but every time you show up, you're stacking bricks. Every day you put in the work, you're laying the foundation. And brick by brick, those small, quiet, daily actions turn into something massive. That's why progress often goes unnoticed while it's happening, because it's disguised as routine. It's hidden inside the grind. It's not a sprint, it's a slow, steady march forward. The people who chase the pretty version of progress, the one filled with instant results and constant excitement, are the ones who quit when it gets repetitive. The ones who understand that progress is messy, unglamorous, and sometimes painfully slow are the ones who actually make it, because they keep showing up, even when the changes are too small to see in the mirror. Consistency isn't about being perfect. It's about refusing to stop. It's about getting back on track when you slip. It's about putting in the work when no one will ever know you did. When you understand that progress is just consistency over time, you stop chasing quick fixes. You stop looking for shortcuts. You start trusting the process, and that trust is what keeps you going when nothing feels different yet. Because deep down, you know every rep, every step, every day you show up is moving you forward. Even if it's not pretty, even if it's not obvious, it's still progress. If you didn't care, you wouldn't still be showing up. You wouldn't still be dragging yourself out of bed when it's easier to hit snooze. You wouldn't still be pushing through the days when nothing seems to go your way. You wouldn't still be taking steps forward, even when they feel like inches instead of miles. You wouldn't still be here in the fight. The very fact that you're still showing up means something. It means there's a fire inside you, even if it feels dim right now. It means you haven't given up on yourself, no matter how frustrated or tired you've been. Most people quit the moment things get hard. They walk away the second progress slows down or obstacles pile up. They tell themselves it wasn't meant to be, or they'll come back later. But you're still here. You're still moving, still trying, still pushing. That's proof that you care more than you might realize, even if you doubt yourself, even if you question whether you're capable, even if you've had moments where you thought about quitting. You didn't. And that matters, because showing up, especially when you don't feel like it, is the foundation of everything worth having. It's the difference between people who dream and people who actually make those dreams real. You can't fake showing up. You can't pretend to be consistent without putting in the work. The fact that you keep returning to the fight day after day tells the truth about who you are. It says you're committed, even if the results haven't shown up yet. It says you believe deep down that this matters, and here's the thing. Belief isn't about feeling confident all the time. It's about taking action even when you're not sure. It's about trusting the process enough to keep going, even when you can't see the finish line. Every time you show up, you're proving to yourself that you can be counted on. You're building self-respect. You're strengthening the part of you that refuses to fold when things get heavy. And one day, when the results finally appear, you'll look back and realize that showing up, especially on the hard days, was what made all the difference. So don't underestimate the fact that you're still here. Don't ignore the quiet victories that happen each time you choose to keep going instead of giving in. If you didn't care, you wouldn't still be showing up, but you do care, and that's exactly why you will win. Results don't come from occasional effort. They don't come from doing the work only when you feel motivated. They don't come from putting in a burst of energy for a week and then disappearing for a month. They don't come from giving half your focus and expecting full rewards. Real results come from relentless discipline. Discipline means showing up no matter what. It means putting in the work when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you'd rather do anything else. It means following through on the plan even when it feels like nothing is happening. Because most of the time, progress is invisible in the moment. You don't see the change right away. You don't get instant feedback or constant applause. And that's why most people quit. They think effort should pay off immediately, but discipline is different. Discipline says, I'll keep going even if the reward comes later. Discipline is doing the work on the days that aren't exciting, on the days you're tempted to slack, on the days it would be easier to make excuses. Anyone can work hard for a short burst of time, but it takes a different kind of person to keep grinding day after day without losing focus. That's why relentless discipline is the separator. It's what divides the people who talk about what they want from the people who actually go get it. Relentless discipline doesn't care if it's Monday or Friday. It doesn't care if you're in the mood or not. It doesn't care if it's raining, if you're busy, if you're tired, or if nobody's watching. It's not built on feelings, it's built on commitment. And commitment means you've decided there's no way out except forward. When you live with relentless discipline, you don't give yourself an escape route. You do the work because it's who you are now, not just what you're trying to do. You hold yourself to a standard that doesn't drop when life gets hard. And that's where results are born, because the truth is, effort is easy in the beginning. It's easy when you're inspired, when the vision is fresh, when everything feels possible. But that inspiration fades, and what's left is the choice to keep going or not. Relentless discipline is choosing to keep going every single time. It's the decision to put in the reps, make the calls, study the material, train your body, whatever it is, without skipping, without compromise. And when you do that long enough, results stop being a question of asterisk if asterisk and start becoming a question of asterisk when asterisk, because relentless discipline always pays. It's just a matter of time. Success is forged in silence. Not in the spotlight, not in front of an audience, not when the crowd is cheering your name. It's forged in the moments when nobody's watching, clapping, or even caring. It's built in the quiet hours when you're alone with your work. When the only sound is your own breath, your own footsteps, your own thoughts. Those are the hours that decide whether you win or not. Because it's easy to look like you're committed when people are paying attention. It's easy to push harder when you know someone is watching, but the real test comes when there's no one around to see it, when no one will know if you skipped the work today, when no one will pat you on the back for pushing through. That's when it's just you and the choice to either keep going or quit, and it's in those moments that champions are made. Silence is where discipline is tested. It's where you face the truth about whether you're serious or just pretending to be. There are no filters, no applause, no instant gratification in that space. Just raw effort, just the grind, just the work that most people aren't willing to do because it's lonely and uncomfortable. But that's exactly why it matters. If you can keep pushing when there's no recognition, you're proving to yourself that you're in this for the right reasons. You're not here for validation. You're not here for likes, praise, or attention. You're here for the result, and results are earned long before anyone ever sees them. They're built in the repetitions no one notices. They're shaped in the early mornings and late nights that pass without acknowledgement. They're carved out of the days you keep going despite having every reason to stop. Every bit of success you see on the outside started with silent, unseen hours on the inside. By the time the world notices, the real work is already done. By the time people start clapping, you've already lived through the sweat, the frustration, the doubts, and the grind that made it possible. That's why silence is so powerful. It's where the transformation actually happens. It's where you become someone different, someone stronger, someone who doesn't need an audience to put in the work. Because the truth is, if you can show up when nobody cares, you'll be unstoppable when they finally do. Life will test you. It won't ask for your permission. It won't wait until you're ready. It won't give you a warning before it hits. One day, without notice, it will put something in your path that feels too heavy, too big, too much for you to handle. And in that moment, you'll have a choice. You can fold under the weight, or you can rise to meet it, because that's what tests are for. They separate who you think you are from who you really are. When life pushes you, it's not just to make you struggle. It's to see if you'll fight back. It's to see if you can dig deeper than you ever have before. And that's where you prove your worth. Not when everything is going right. Not when the road is smooth and the sun is shining. But when it's storming, when your legs are tired, when your mind is screaming at you to stop. That's the battlefield where character is built. Anyone can look strong when life is easy, but real strength shows up when things get messy. When you're scared, unsure, and hurting, but you move forward anyway. That's when you find out what you're really made of. Tests aren't meant to destroy you, they're meant to reveal you. They expose your limits, then force you to push past them. They strip away excuses and make you decide whether you want it badly enough to keep going. You might not like it. You might hate the discomfort, the frustration, the uncertainty. But those moments are the fire that forges you. Steel is not made in comfort, it's made in heat, and life's tests are that heat. They burn away weakness, they burn away doubt, they leave behind the strongest, most unshakable version of you. When you pass those tests, you walk away different. You walk away with confidence that can't be faked, because you didn't just talk about what you could handle. You lived it, you carried the weight, you faced the storm, and you didn't break. So the next time life comes for you, don't ask, why me? Ask, what is this here to teach me? Because every challenge is an invitation to grow. Every obstacle is a chance to prove that you're more than the circumstances you're facing. Life will keep testing you, and every time you'll have the chance to prove your worth all over again. Your future self is depending on the choices you make today, not tomorrow, not someday, not when you feel ready, right now. Every decision you make in this moment is shaping the person you will become. Every action you take or refuse to take is building the life you're going to live. It's easy to forget that. It's easy to believe that today doesn't matter, that skipping one workout, missing one opportunity, or putting off one goal won't change much. But it does, because the future isn't created in one big moment. It's created in hundreds of small moments that add up over time. Your habits, your discipline, your daily effort. They're writing the story your future self will have to live in. 5 years from now, you will either thank yourself for the work you put in today, or you will regret that you didn't start sooner. You will either be living in the results of your consistency or in the consequences of your excuses. The truth is, your future self is counting on you to do the hard things now. They're counting on you to push through the days when it feels pointless. They're counting on you to make sacrifices, to delay gratification, to stay focused even when distractions look tempting. Because the version of you 5 years from now will have to deal with whatever you leave them. If you quit now, they'll pay the price. If you stay committed, they'll reap the rewards. That's why the little decisions matter so much. Choosing to study instead of scrolling, choosing to train instead of sleeping in, choosing to save instead of spending on something you don't need. Every one of those choices is an investment in your future self. And the more you invest, the richer that future becomes, not just financially, but in health, in freedom, in happiness. You can't go back and fix the past, but right now, you're holding the pen that will write the next chapter. And the chapter you write today will decide whether the future is something you look forward to or something you dread. Your future self will either be proud of you or disappointed in you, and that decision is being made right now with every action you take. So when it feels hard, when it feels like what you do today doesn't matter, remember it matters more than you think, because your future self is depending on the choices you make today. Your future self is depending on the choices you make today. Not next week, not next month, not when life feels easier, right now. Every choice you make in this moment is shaping the version of you that will wake up tomorrow, next year, and 10 years from now. It's easy to believe today doesn't matter much. It's easy to think that skipping this one workout, eating whatever you want, putting off the hard task, or ignoring your goals just this once won't make a difference. But it does, because the life you're living today is the result of choices you made in the past, and the life you'll be living tomorrow will be the result of the choices you make now. Every single action, good or bad, is like a seed. What you plant today will grow into something you'll have to live with. Your future self is either going to be grateful for the seeds you planted or resentful that you wasted the time. If you choose discipline now, they'll inherit strength. If you choose excuses now, they'll inherit regret. The hard truth is, there's no avoiding the bill. Your choices today are writing the receipt, and your future self will have to pay it. That's why the little things matter so much. The way you use your mornings, the way you handle your health, the way you treat your time, your money, your relationships. Every one of those decisions is a vote for the kind of person you will become. Your future self is counting on you to push through the days you don't feel like it. They're counting on you to stay consistent when progress feels slow. They're counting on you to make the sacrifices that feel uncomfortable now, but will open doors later. Because if you quit today, they will be the one living with the consequences. And if you keep going today, they will be the one living with the rewards. Think about the person you want to be in 5 years. The health you want, the skills you want, the confidence you want, the life you want. That person does not magically appear. They are built by the choices you make when nobody's watching. They are shaped by the effort you put in when it would be easier to take the day off. You don't have to be perfect today, but you do have to choose in favor of the future you want. Because whether you realize it or not, your future self is depending on the choices you make today. Quitting may feel easy now. It may feel like the weight lifts off your shoulders the second you decide to stop. It may feel like relief. The pressure disappears, the struggle is gone, the discomfort fades, and for a moment it feels like the right choice. But that feeling is temporary, because once the relief fades, regret moves in, and regret doesn't leave. It doesn't give you space. It doesn't let you forget. It sits in the back of your mind, whispering about what could have been. It shows up when you see someone else achieve what you once wanted. It hits you when you realize the only thing standing between you and that life was the choice to keep going. Regret is heavier than hard work. Hard work may exhaust you in the moment, but regret drains you for years. Hard work challenges you, but regret haunts you. When you quit, you close the door on possibilities you'll never get back. You'll never know how close you were to breaking through. You'll never know how much more you were capable of, and that unknown will eat at you, because deep down you'll always know you could have done more. The pain of pushing forward is temporary. The sacrifices, the late nights, the early mornings, the failures along the way, they fade once you succeed, but the pain of quitting stays. It becomes a story you tell yourself over and over. A constant reminder that you walked away when things got hard. It will show up years later in quiet moments when you think about where you are versus where you could have been. And no matter how much you try to justify it, a part of you will always wish you had kept going. That's why quitting is so dangerous. It doesn't just end the struggle, it kills the future you were fighting for. It takes away the chance to prove yourself, to grow, to see what's possible. It trades long-term fulfillment for short-term comfort. And that's a trade you will always lose. When you feel like quitting, it's because the work is testing you. It's because you're close to something worth fighting for. It's because growth is happening, even if it's uncomfortable. Push through that moment. Choose the temporary discomfort over the permanent weight of regret, because quitting may feel easy now, but regret lasts a lifetime. You don't need more motivation. You need more commitment. Motivation is a spark. It feels good. It fires you up, but it doesn't last. It's there one day and gone the next. It shows up when conditions are perfect, when you're well rested, when everything feels exciting. But the second life gets messy, the spark fades, and that's where most people stop, because they think without motivation they can't move forward. But the truth is, you don't need that feeling to keep going. You need commitment. Commitment is what carries you when motivation runs out. It's what makes you show up when you don't feel like it. It's what makes you keep going even when you're tired, frustrated, or unsure if you're making progress. Motivation asks, do I feel like doing this today? Commitment says, it doesn't matter how I feel. I'm doing it anyway. Commitment doesn't care about mood. It doesn't wait for inspiration. It's a decision you make once, and then you back it up every single day. Even when it's boring, even when it's repetitive, even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable, because that's where growth happens. That's where results are built. If you rely on motivation, you'll only work when the conditions are perfect. If you rely on commitment, you'll work no matter what the conditions are, and over time, that difference will separate you from everyone else. Motivation will fail you the first time things get hard. Commitment will carry you through the hardest moments of your life. Motivation is a mood. Commitment is a promise. And the people who keep their promises to themselves, the ones who show up without excuses, are the ones who win. You'll never always feel ready. You'll never always feel inspired. But if you're committed, you don't wait for those feelings. You act, you put in the work, whether the fire is burning or not. And eventually the results come, not because you were motivated every day, but because you refused to break your commitment. So stop chasing motivation. Start building commitment, because motivation might start the journey. But commitment is what takes you to the finish line. Every day you keep going, you're building something unstoppable. You might not see it yet. You might feel like you're just repeating the same steps, grinding through the same routines, facing the same struggles. But every single day you choose not to quit. You're stacking bricks, invisible bricks, bricks that no one else notices, bricks that, piece by piece, are forming the foundation of something massive. It's easy to overlook it because the progress isn't always loud. There's no fireworks for discipline, no cheering crowd for consistency. Most of the work you're doing happens in silence, without applause, without recognition. But it's in that silence where greatness is built. Every time you push through resistance, you're adding strength to the structure. Every time you finish what you started, you're reinforcing it. Every time you get up after failing, you're making it harder for anything to tear you down. That's what makes it unstoppable. Not luck, not talent, not one big win, but the unshakable strength that comes from showing up again and again, no matter how you feel. It's like building armor, one plate at a time. At first, it doesn't seem like much, but over time, it becomes impenetrable. And one day, you'll realize that all those little choices, all those days you kept going when it was easier to stop, have created something no obstacle can break. Because here's the truth, nothing beats a person who refuses to quit. Challenges can slow them down, but they can't stop them. Failures can knock them over, but they'll always get back up. Doubt can whisper in their ear, but they'll keep moving forward. That's the power you're building every day you keep going. You're becoming a force that can't be shaken by setbacks, can't be broken by criticism, can't be stopped by fear. And the best part, you don't have to do it all at once. You just have to win today, and then win tomorrow, and then the next day, brick by brick, step by step, choice by choice. It's not about perfection. It's about persistence, because persistence compounds. And when it compounds long enough, it becomes unstoppable. So even if today feels small, even if it feels like nothing changed, remember, something did. You got stronger, you got better. You added another brick to the wall that nothing will be able to tear down. And every day you keep going, you're building something unstoppable. So keep showing up, keep stacking those bricks, keep choosing the harder right over the easier wrong. Because one day you'll look back and realize that what you've built isn't just a goal achieved, it's a version of yourself that nothing and no one can break. And when that day comes, you won't just be unstoppable. You'll be unshakable, unmovable, and undeniable. And it will all be because you kept going.